The time is now 6:04, and I call this regular meeting of council to order. We'll begin with a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Councilor Shiles.
I'd like to just take a moment of silence to think about all the people who are being displaced in the Los Angeles fires right now. And so if we can just take a moment to think about that. Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, the roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Landis?
Here.
Ms. Mellon?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Roos?
Here.
Mr. Shiles?
Here.
Mr. Stubbe?
Here.
Mayor Schultz?
Here. Thank you. We'll move on to the beginning of our meeting where we have opportunities for citizens and visitors to be heard. But I know we have a number of family members here tonight and friends for the presentation that we have. So we're going to move ahead to Chief Landis. If you'll meet me down at the podium, I know you have some introductions to make of our new officers.
What I'm going to do is call you one by one, just stand in front of me, and I'm going to read a little bio about you. Nervins Lubin. Mr. Lubin is originally from Miami, Florida, and held jobs in security, shipping, receiving. He has an associate's degree in business administration from Miami-Dade College. He speaks Haitian, Creole, Spanish, some other languages that I don't know. Mr. Cody Deal. Mr. Cody Deal previously was a mechanic and then a power plant manager. In his spare time, he enjoys being outdoors, hunting, fishing, hiking, as well as traveling. After researching various first responder professions, he gravitated to the profession of police. And he now thinks he wants to make a positive impact in serving our community. Post. Mr. Landon Smith. Landon has held jobs in construction industry, customer service. He's always been interested in serving his community and helping others, and often assisting neighbors with repairs, maintenance. Cody attended Lock Haven University, the degree in criminal justice. In his spare time, he enjoys playing golf. He'll be friendly. Post. Cameron Hong. Cameron previously worked for the U.S. Postal Service, but was drawn to law enforcement profession through various family members who are the military and police officers and or firefighters. In his spare time, he enjoys cooking, kayaking, hiking, video games. Cameron looks forward to bringing a positive solution-oriented approach to the Borough community. Post. Cade Kravitz. Cade is joining the Carlisle Police Department, one of our newest members. He was formerly a police officer with Susquehanna Township and with the Pennsylvania State Capitol Police. Before that, he worked at a fitness center as a personal trainer. He holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and sociology from King's College, where he was also the captain of the wrestling team and a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Cade enjoys spending time with friends, going to the lake, jet skiing, going to the gym. He's looking forward to serving the Carlisle community. Many of these guys have a fitness background. Post. If you please, would you follow the mayor's instructions being sworn in? So,
And if any family members want to come up and get good angle photos, feel free to do so. Officers, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tony Seals,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
the laws of this Commonwealth,
the laws of this Commonwealth,
and the Borough of Carlisle,
and the Borough of Carlisle,
and that I will uphold, obey, defend,
and that I will uphold, obey, and defend,
enforce the law,
and enforce the law,
and discharge the duties of my office
and discharge the duties of my office
as a police officer
as a police officer
with fidelity, without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age, national origin, ancestry, handicap or disability,
handicap, or disability,
as a police officer
as a police officer
for the Borough of Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
for the Borough of Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Congratulations. Okay, next is an opportunity for citizens to be heard. So if there's anybody here who would like to be heard on any topic of borough government, you may step forward to the podium. I see no one. Do we have anybody by Zoom? Okay, move on to the consent agenda. So this is a list of routine items which do not appear to be controversial in nature and which probably do not require additional discussion. They can be acted on by one motion in their current form. If discussion is desired on any particular item, any member of council or the public may request the item be removed from the consent agenda, and that item will be considered separately. So anybody requesting such an item being removed on council? Anyone from the public? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Mellon. Call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the consent agenda carries. There are no table continued and recurring items. And next is under my report, a proclamation to be presented for Bosler Memorial Library's 125th anniversary. So Jeff, if you want to come on up and meet me at the podium. I'm getting my steps in coming up and down the podium tonight. But 125 years. It's not, you weren't there the entire time,
No,
Jeff, right?
it feels like it
It
sometimes.
does. Sometimes those days are long, right? But just tremendous to have that type of institution in our borough for such a long time, providing services that I think a lot of people take for granted. Not only the books that you provide that children and adults can read for free and educate themselves and entertain themselves, but all the services that you provide throughout the library. So we truly appreciate that we have this library within our borough boundaries.
You all built a beautiful library.
Thank you. When you keep it going, so we appreciate that. So the proclamation reads: whereas Bosler Memorial Library has been a cornerstone of the borough of Carlisle since 1900, providing invaluable service and commitment to the Carlisle community. And whereas the library offers a wide range of resources and educational programs for all ages, promoting literacy and lifelong learning, and serving as a hub for knowledge and enrichment within the region. And whereas the original building has expanded from 6,134 square feet to over 43,000 square feet, now serving a population of more than 56,000. And whereas patrons have access to a diverse collection of physical and digital items, as well as access to collections from all of the Cumberland County Library System member libraries. And whereas Bosler Memorial Library offers free opportunities for adults, children, teens, and families to engage in welcoming and developmentally appropriate and enjoyable programming. And whereas the staff, board of directors, Friends Board, and volunteers of Bosler Memorial Library are dedicated to open access, customer focus, excellence, growth, innovation, and good stewardship, envisioning a future where all individuals and families are eager and engaged lifelong learners. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Sean M. Schultz, Mayor of Carlisle, do hereby recognize and honor Bosler Memorial Library for its outstanding service and commitment to the community on the occasion of its 125th anniversary, and extend my deepest gratitude to its leadership, staff, and volunteers. So Jeff, thank you, and please make sure you pass this on to everybody on your staff and your volunteers, because they as you know, they all make this work.
They make it work. That's right.
So thank you. Thank you,
you
Jeff.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you.
So while you're coming back up, Mr. Mayor, if I could just say, I have been a lifelong patron of Bosler, and I'm admitting how old I am by saying that I remember in the mid 70s going to up the steps into the original doors of the original portion of the library and going down to the basement to the children's library with that beautiful mural on the wall. And for 50 years, without fail, the Bosler has been there for me and everything that I need, and has been there for the community. And it was my first job when I entered my nonprofit career. And so I'm very grateful to see that it's 125 years going strong under such wonderful leadership now. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mellon. Okay. Next up is reports from committees, budget and finance.
Thank you, Mayor Schultz. I have one item for this evening. I make the motion that Borough Council approve the 2025 contract renewal for Springbrook Software in the amount of $91,478.65.
Motion by the Deputy Mayor to approve the 2025 contract renewal with Springbrook Software, which I will second. Is there any discussion on that item? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
And that completes my report.
Thank you. ERCP.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that council appoint Mr. Kellen Lowe to a partial term on the Carlisle Borough Municipal Authority. The term shall be effective immediately and expire on December 31st, 2028.
Councilor Mellon makes a motion for the appointment of Mr. Kellen Lowe to the Carlisle Borough Municipal Authority. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Perry. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
That completes my report.
Thank you. Under public safety, I move that council enact an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Fire Department of the Code of the Borough of Carlisle, repealing Article 3, blue lights on vehicles. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Roos. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, this is a roll call. Please, Madam Secretary.
Deputy Mayor Landis.
Aye.
Ms. Mellon.
Aye.
Ms. Perry.
Aye.
Ms. Roos.
Aye.
Mr. Shao.
Aye.
Mr. Stubbe.
Aye.
Mayor Schultz.
and the motion carries. Next, I move that council approve the purchase of two 2025 Ford Police Interceptor utility hybrids from New Holland Auto Group totaling $98,638 through the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's Cooperative Purchasing Agreement, CoStar's number 013-E22-223. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Council Roos. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one item this evening. I move that Borough Council enact an ordinance amending the code of the Borough of Carlisle with respect to Chapter 197 sewers relating to the Carlisle Industrial Pretreatment Program. Said provisions will incorporate new local limits that will be applied to permitted industries who contribute processed wastewater to the Carlisle Region Water Pollution Control Facility.
Councilor Stubbe makes a motion to enact an ordinance amending the code with respect to Chapter 197 sewers. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilors. Second by Councilor Roos. Any discussion on this item? Okay, then I'll call the question. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Landis.
Aye.
Ms. Mellon.
Aye.
Ms. Perry.
Aye.
Ms. Roos.
Aye.
Mr. Schaus.
Aye.
Mr. Stubbe.
Aye.
Mayor Schultz.
The motion carries.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Sustainable Community and Economic Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that Borough Council may accept the Carlisle Historic District Survey Report of Architectural and Historic Resources prepared by ASC Group, Inc., architectural historians, and dated November 2024.
Council Shiles makes a motion to accept the Carlisle Historic District Survey Report of Architectural and Historic Resources prepared by ASC Group. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Deputy Mayor. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
Second, I'd like to make a motion that Borough Council may approve a minor subdivision and waive all other requirements of the Borough Subdivision Ordinance for two developed lots at 49 Walnut Street.
Council Shiles makes a motion to approve a minor subdivision and waive all other requirements of Borough's subdivision ordinance for two developed lots at 49 Walnut Street. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Deputy Mayor. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the motion carries.
Third item on my report this evening, I make a motion that Borough Council may direct the Borough Solicitor to schedule a public hearing on April 10th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. and proceed with public notification for a proposed amendment to the Carlisle zoning map in accordance with the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code for tax parcel IDs 03-21-0318-142 and 03-22-0487-009 and 03-22-0487-010 from C2 Shopping Center Mixed Use District to UM Urban Mixed Use District.
Council Shiles makes a motion to schedule a public hearing on April 10th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. and proceed with public notification for proposed amendment to the Carlisle zoning map for the three parcels that he identified. I'm not rereading those to rezone from C2 Shopping Center Mixed Use District to UM Urban Mixed Use District. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Deputy Mayor. Any discussion on this item?
I wasn't sure if we need to give a little bit more note. If Jared wanted to bring any comments up about
Where this came from and the land use reform
we have
subcommittee.
talked about it in our land use reform, but I thought it could possibly be helpful to give a little.
Sure, I can talk about it a little bit. The land use reform subcommittee, they strive to make better connections between our planning documents and our ordinances. We looked at the comprehensive plan for this area, and it's sort of marked out as the existing land use is marked as commercial, which it is. but the intended uses or the future land use plan has it as shopping center / mixed use. When you look at the zoning ordinance, the only things that you're allowed to do are commercial uses. So you can have a mix of commercial uses or a variety of commercial uses, but it doesn't meet the intent of an actual mixed use zoning district where you'd have residential and non-residential and open space uses, whereas does that. Um, the earlier sort of planning document, the 2002 comprehensive plan, it didn't have that tool. You know, the urban mixed use zoning district was sort of created after that time. Um, why it wasn't moved into urban mixed use before now, I'm not sure, but with the urban mixed use zoning at Frog Switch, the council approved about a year ago, and the intended small area planning that we're going to receive funding from the municipal assistance program to sort of look at that corridor, East High Street from East Street out to the Borough line down York. Now's the right time to get the zoning, at least to provide us with the most options for planning, and potentially add some new infill opportunities for the landowner. So the time's right. The zoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and that's where the recommendation came from.
Any questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. Under new business, it's another opportunity. If there's anybody here who would like to provide any public comment, not seeing anybody jumping up. Staff still no one by Zoom raising a hand. Okay, we'll move on to reports from council members and staff. Council Bruce.
Nothing to report.
Council Mel.
Nothing.
Council Stupy. Deputy Mayor Landis.
I have two things. One, I just wanted to thank our fire department for the incredible work that they did in the last 2 months here with really terrible fires, and it's a volunteer crew, and it was cold and right at the Christmas season, and I know that a lot of families were displaced, but I am warmed to just know that we have such an incredible fire department that is attentive and did as fast work as possible, and also just caring. So thank you. Please do take that on. The other thing that I had was basically something that I just realized that we had not fully dug into. In September, a group of folks had come here who were looking they presented a ceasefire resolution for the war on Gaza, and they gave us a draft resolution, but it wasn't on our agenda, so they did send that along, but we really haven't discussed it. And I do like to follow up when our residents come and bring things to us. So I have not spoken to anyone up here, and I really wasn't sure what the next steps the rest of council feel. We've definitely adopted resolutions for events after the fact. This is a ceasefire resolution that does acknowledge the history of Palestine and the rights the concerns that have been happening now as with the last 70 years. When it comes to the actual text in here, in the past we have taken things and then reworked them, so I guess my question is there interest in us discussing this further? Is there interest in a few of us looking at it and seeing if it is written so it can be something that we can vote on? So I really wasn't sure where we are as a council on this particular request.
Okay,
I would be interested in that. I think we should be actively discussing this, and I think I don't. To me, and I don't know this for any certainty, but it doesn't. I don't know what power we have to really affect this at all, other than just sort of like showing solidarity for people who with victims of some extreme levels of violence. So, yeah.
Any other comments?
I too would be interested in seeing something that aligns with the borough's stance on aligning themselves with folks who have suffered in the past. So yes, I agree with Councilor Strauss.
I guess I'll just say that because it's just what I do when we get these kind of things. I don't think I had widely shared it for everybody, but when we did get this, I did kind of like revise it and rewrite it to like reformat it, just in the event that we did come to a future discussion. So if we are looking to move forward, I'd be happy to share that with everybody individually as to like a revised version of it. Because I mean, obviously, at the very least, even if we have that exact same wording, it's not formatted right. So, so I kind of like just because when we get these things, that's what I like to do because that's what I do for work basically. So I'd be happy to at least share that around if we're gonna have an additional like further discussion as to kind of like my first pass at like a revised version of it. I don't know if there are like additional groups that might be interested in like weighing in on what wording of such a resolution might look like if we are moving forward. But just like I said, I'd be happy to share that with everybody.
I appreciate that you do this for a living because I do not, and I appreciate editors that know the way a document like this should be structured. So yes, I would.
Okay. Any more? I guess that just leaves. Yeah.
And I think, and I'm good also with having a discussion about it.
I guess it's just you and me. And we haven't spoken on it yet.
I mean, yeah, as Councilor Stubbe mentioned, I would like to speak to other members of the community about their thoughts on the resolution, and I would be willing to look at a revision of what was presented to us.
Yeah, I think so. We bring it forward at the workshop, and I'll just note that there was some phrasing in their draft that is probably pretty offensive to members of the Jewish community that most of us probably wouldn't understand, but I've experienced from residents in our community in the past when there have been speeches made and a proclamation attempted to be requested from me. So I think we just need to be mindful of all of that, and the fact that history in that area didn't start in the 1940s. That there's a long history of pain on both sides, and not to diminish the atrocities that are happening there by the Netanyahu government, but also the atrocities that occurred at the hands of Hamas. And I think we need to be sensitive to that and to the humanity of the people who are suffering because of leadership that have sometimes means that don't justify the ends and ends that don't justify the means. And if we're going to have moral decisions in this world, the means and ends have to justify each other. So I'm happy to have further discussion on that. And I think I did take a look at Councilor Stubbe's rewrite of it, and I think we should bring that forward too. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And that completes my report.
Councilor Perry.
I have none.
Okay. Councilor Schatz.
I have none.
Okay. I don't think I have anything to report either. We had a nice meeting with some members of our fire companies today. So we'll have more to report on that as we go forward. And I appreciate the words, because I know our volunteers are always struggling to manage their daily lives and holidays and everything else that comes in and showing up to be there for our community. So we appreciate those words whenever they have the opportunity to hear them. So we'll make sure to speak them loud and clear every chance we get. So if there's nothing further, this meeting is adjourned.